What's up, everybody? It's CMP with Craftmaster Productions and Studio One Tutorials.com. Don't forget to stop by Studio One Tutorials.com. Pick up your premium membership. It is 50 cents a day, and it is the only way to get the MIDI files for this lesson. Now, today we're going to be looking at the baby type track. We're going to be using a short release 808 and a short release kick to create an infectious head nodding rhythm that really lends to this style of production. All right, everybody. So this track a lot more up tempo than a lot of the stuff I normally make. This is 80. This is 185. Everything I do is in double time, so that's like what's that 92 and a half in straight time, up tempo type of jam. Still the same trap sounds. Everything that I'm using is from it's from my Ski Mask samples, and these drums slap volume one, which is like which is kind of like these drum slap volume one is a kit of like the drums that I like to use. I didn't really go out and try to make like the perfect trap kit or the perfect lo-fi kit. Like I was like, yo, I'm tired of going through all these different kits only to find a couple sounds out of each, and then no, I'm just gonna make my own. So that's the deal with that. So when we look at this type of beat, the first thing that jumps out at us is the bass line, and you see that it's a really spread out bass line, which gives it a nice bop, right? When you take beats that are of these higher tempos, I would say like when you get into like once you get like over 162, like once you start getting to like 165, those sustained bass lines really drown out the rhythm of the track because they take up so much space. Once you start getting into these tempos, you want to go into a type of vibe where you're really letting where you're letting the melodies breathe and you're letting the drums and the kicks breathe as well. So you'll see that I don't have a lot of long sustained notes. It's just, and then when we take a look at it, right? If we bring the kick track into it, and let's make the kick, let's make the kick track. Let's just make it a different color real quick. Kicks. We'll make the kicks green, and we'll go ahead and we'll bring the 808s in so you can see. And if you guys don't know how to engage the ghost notes, all you got to do is press these four bars right here, and then you can select which notes you want to see here. And then with the pencil tool, you can select right or left to. I'm sorry, you could select the pencil to either gray them out so that you can't affect them, or make them darker so that you can draw them. And the first thing that you'll notice is, okay, so our lime green is our kicks, right? You'll see that the kicks don't always overlap the bass notes, sometimes they occur in different spots, and the effect that you get from that is this nice bounce in the low end, right? So you get a nice thump from the kick, like a nice percussive thump, which will lead the head nodding type of rhythm, and then the bass line, with the lower frequencies, that's going to move everything from your shoulders down. And another thing you're gonna want to pay attention to when you're using when you're using these real fast hi-hats at tempos like this, when you if you're using sample one to do this, make sure that you've got the trigger set to normal, and you press mono, because what happens is the rolls are happening so fast that you'll have overlap from the previous sample playing over it. It's kind of like it's like that. It's the function in FL Studio. They call it cut itself, but everywhere else they call it mono, right? So it's just monophonic, meaning that only for this device, this instrument, you're only going to hear one instance of the sound at a time. Now here we have I've got this open hi hat, and this was kind of like a cool sound. This was my take on it. So if you hear that, you know, you probably be like, "Oh, what's that sound?" This is just a regular hi hat. And I noticed, I noticed that in this type of beat, a lot of people like to use the open hi hat. And whenever I'm making like a specific kind of beat, in order to introduce, my own spin to it, or when I'm going in and out of genres, and trying to do that whole thing, is I don't want to make clone beats. I don't want to make exactly what this person has, especially if you're trying to work with an artist, or you're trying to get a placement or something like that. You want to add your own spin to it while performing within the parameters of the given genre, the given type of beat, right? So rather than use a open hi-hat, I just took a regular hi-hat sound and pitched it down 2 octaves and got this really cool tone. All right, so, and that's pretty much the drummer, the drum choices for that. The kick I think I'm using, yeah, really a really, this is a short attack. I'm sorry, a short release kick, and you see that, if you guys don't have these drum slap, you see, I'm just, it's a kick that's clipped. So you guys want to look for a waveform that has a good amount of clipping in it, that isn't a real long, fat waveform, just something that's really short, that's simply providing the attack into the track. You'll notice that for that, because I'm using a kick like that, the kick doesn't play at any time that the 808 doesn't play. When I want to introduce a change into the low end, what I'm doing is I'm removing the kick. And a lot of tracks that I do that in the reverse. When I want to cause a change in pace in the low end, I'll remove the 808, and that's because the 808 in slower tracks is typically a sustained 808. It's taking up so much room in the track that when you take it away, you really notice that difference. But again, if you look at our patterns, the 808 versus the actual kick, the kick is occupying more space, so it's a way more drastic change to hear this and this versus this. See, it just doesn't feel as good to go between these two. And that's really what it's all about, is feeling. So this track, you're going to we're gonna have the MIDI information inside the Studio One tutorials YouTube tutorial file Dropbox. You're gonna get the files just like this. All you got to do is drag this into your DAW. It doesn't even have to be Studio One, to be honest with you guys. I mean, any DAW that takes MIDI, whether it's Logic, FL Studio, Ableton Live, you drag this into your arrange window, and you'll have these arrangements. So that's 50 cents a day for we're looking at 3 arrangements a week, guys. Super value, man. So I want you guys to keep it simple and do not be basic, and we will see you on the next one, fam. Peace.